Did you know that in 1918, a young black woman named Mary Turner was lynched in one of the most horrific acts of racial violence ever recorded in American history, and that her only crime was speaking out against the murder of her husband? The story of Mary Turner, the lynching that shook the nation. In May 1918, in Lowndes County, Georgia, a chain of violence erupted after a white plantation owner named Hampton Smith was shot and killed. Smith had a reputation for cruelty. He often bailed black men out of jail, only to force them into unpaid labor on his farm. When Smith was murdered, a mob of white men went on a rampage of revenge, killing at least 13 black men and women, some of whom had no connection to the crime at all. Among the victims was Hayes Turner, a young black man who worked for Smith. Without trial or evidence, Hayes was seized, tortured, and lynched by the mob. His body was left hanging as a warning to others. When Mary Turner, his 21-year-old pregnant wife, learned what had happened, she was outraged. She publicly declared that those responsible would face justice, a statement that, in 1918 Georgia, was seen as an unforgivable act of defiance for a black woman. Word spread quickly to the white community that Mary had spoken out. The mob came for her next. The horror unfolds. Mary tried to flee, but she was captured near the Fones Brothers Bridge over the Little River. The mob, including men, women, and even children, took her to a tree by the riverbank. They hung her upside down by her ankles. They poured gasoline and oil over her body, and then they set her on fire. As the flames consumed her, Mary went into labor. Witnesses later reported that her baby fell from her womb, and one of the mob members crushed the newborn's head beneath his boot. When it was over, Mary's mutilated body was left hanging as a gruesome warning. Aftermath and legacy. The brutality of Mary Turner's murder shocked parts of the nation. The NAACP launched a major investigation and published a report titled 30 Years of Lynching in the United States, which detailed the atrocity. However, no one was ever arrested or charged for her death, despite widespread knowledge in the community of who had taken part. Mary Turner's story became a rallying cry for anti-lynching activists. Her name was invoked by Ida B. Wells, Walter White, and others who demanded justice and federal intervention to stop racial terror in America. In 2010, more than 90 years after her murder, a historical marker was finally placed near the site of her lynching in Lowndes County, Georgia. A painful reminder of the silence and complicity that once surrounded such acts. The final reflection. Mary Turner's courage to speak out in a time when silence was expected cost her life. But her defiance became part of the movement that would one day fuel the civil rights struggle and inspire generations to confront racial violence head-on. Her story asks a haunting question that still echoes today. What happens when justice itself becomes a crime?
Hey everyone. If you love hidden Black history stories, you have to subscribe to Black History Stories 13, the channel where we uncover shocking truths they never taught in school. But that's not all. Check out Politics Global 1 for the latest political news and global events. And don't miss Alcabulan Reset 101, where we dive into history, culture, and ideas that will make you think differently. Hit subscribe on all 3 channels. Turn on the bell and join the community that's uncovering history, sharing knowledge, and changing the conversation. Don't wait. Subscribe now.